to We're the Harrises. We've got Super Bowl champion Chris Harris Jr., as well as current NFL player Shelby Harris, and myself, Ryan Harris, teammates with Chris Harris Jr. And boys, this is the Super Bowl edition. Let's kick it off right away. What's going to be the keys to victory between the Chiefs and the Eagles as you see it?
The run game. There's no other question. It's going to be the run game. Who can establish their run game the best? Obviously, we know with the Eagles, the Saquon attack, just how relentless they are running the ball. That's what's going to really, I feel like, elevate the Eagles. Either they're going to win the game off the run or they're going to lose the game off the Chiefs stopping the run. And with the Chiefs, with the two-headed monster they got back there with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, you really got to get them going early. And that will make it easier on Patrick Mahomes to make those big-time throws that we're accustomed to. But I'm telling you, the name of the game for this, amazing Super Bowl game is going to be the run game. Who can stop the run and who can run the ball?
Right. And I think the key part to this game is the quarterbacks, right? Who's going to outplay Mahomes? And right now in Super Bowl games, he's been pretty much unstoppable. Hurts, he hadn't topped over 200 yards except for a couple games this season throwing the football. And to be able to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have big plays. You're going to be able to convert some first downs on first down,
Yes.
right? Or second down, right? Get some chunk plays versus this guy and kind of keep these guys off the field, man. So I think the big key to this game is the quarterbacks. Can Jalen Hurts put the ball in the air, give it to his receivers, right? Because Chiefs, they're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat them. If they do, I'll be very surprised, right? Coach Spagnuolo is going to have a great plan. He's always excellent in his defensive game plans, right? So I think it's going to fall. He's going to make Jalen Hurts beat him, and that's what it's going to have to come down to. Can you make the big throws in the game to lead your team to a Super Bowl?
And how many teams does Patrick Mahomes have to beat twice in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, he did it with. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm saying, all right, you guys want to try again? I'm going to put you down again. So he's done it twice against the 49ers. I think he does it again here against the Eagles. And at the same time, fellas, I don't know if I've ever wanted a team to win a Super Bowl more than the Eagles. Not only just for Saquon Barkley, right? For him to show everybody to get out of New York, right? To leave New York and show everybody what he's capable of. But you're talking about Jalen Hurts, a quarterback in his second Super Bowl who set records for rushing and passing in his first Super Bowl, who people wanted to be a tight end at the combine, right? I mean, this is a guy who got benched for a player, Tua Tagovailoa, who's not even in the playoffs, let alone in his second Super Bowl. This is, to me, the best story of the Eagles winning is Jalen Hurts getting the biggest middle finger to give to everybody else that's ever been given in the NFL. I would love to see it. And I played for the Chiefs. They have fantastic coaches. And the thing that people miss is this is a 4-quarter, maybe 5-quarter game. It's 2 games in the Super Bowl. Chris, you remember we were in there. That's a 30-minute halftime. You have time to put in a game plan if you want to. And last year, remember now, Travis Kelce had 2 catches for, I think, 7 yards in the first half. Finished with over 100 and a tutty, right? So you have to play the long game against the Chiefs, and you cannot make a mistake. And that was the only thing that went against the Eagles last time these two teams faced off in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts' fumble. So I think it's the Chiefs winning it, but I would love to see the Eagles and Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl.
Well, just like you keep talking about, you would love to see the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. I'd love to see Saquon Barkley go crazy. Just to rub it in the Giants' face that they just made one of the biggest mistakes the franchise has ever made. Since who knows when
the Mavericks this last week.
And that's,
couple days,
and that's crazy too. But and that's, I think, the bigger issue is we're not giving enough. We're not giving enough shit to the Giants for the idea that you could get by having Daniel Jones without the premier running back in Saquon Barkley, and that your team will be fine. Your job status will be fine. You'll be able to make it. But now Saquon Barkley's having an all-pro season and the Super Bowl, and the GM and the head coach of the Giants they're on the hottest seats as possible this year. They have no other option but to win, or they won't have a job. So this is right here has to be the Saquon Barkley victory tour, because, man, when somebody doubts you, it's a great thing, because what they always tell you, Ryan, Chris, you already know this. One man's garbage is another man's treasure, and
Hmm.
Saquon Barkley proved that with the Philadelphia Eagles. But I have the Chiefs winning. I cannot go against the Chiefs until somebody actually beats them. But I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I got a 21-17
Mm.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I can roll with that too. Even last year's Super Bowl was more of a defensive battle, and both these offenses, we could say the Eagles are more of a juggernaut, right? This year, with the
Offensively,
amount of
yeah.
points, yeah, offensively, right, with their O line, right. The Eagles O line is pretty much top to
Woo.
bottom, probably the best O line in the game,
They average
and
330 across the board. They average
yeah, I mean
330, boy.
monsters.
That's
Who's number
nothing to a giant,
77? That
baby.
dude is huge,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're opening up holes, and people are not realizing that the Chiefs are playing O linemen out of position and getting away with it,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how much longer you can get away with that. That's my major question mark. Can they get the O line healthy? Can they get most of their guys back on the defensive line? And be able to fight against these Eagles O linemen, man, because their running game has been pretty much unstoppable. Every time I look up, I see Saquon running to the left behind those boys and breaking.
Hmm.
Right. So that's going to be a key to the game right there that people might not catch is the Chiefs reshuffling their O line, right? And hopefully, what if Jalen Carter and them take advantage of that? That could be a big issue in the game.
And one of the things too is both these teams run the ball, so I'm with both of you. That's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, I think it's two of the three Super Bowls the Chiefs have had, they've rushed more than they passed, and they got Patrick Mahomes, and that tells you
Yeah.
all you need to know in terms of what this game is going to look like. And we as players understand, and for those listening or viewing, when you know it's a different type of game when you know both teams are going to run the ball. That means you're going to have less possessions. That means you're going to have more third and shorts, more third and fives. You're going to be you're going to live in that space. It's going to seem like you have to be ready for that. But I do want to pick up too on one thing you said, Shelby, about the Giants. I'm so glad fans get to see what we as players know. Some organizations continue to make bad decisions, and just because a player gets let go or doesn't get re-signed, it oftentimes has nothing to do with the player and everything to do with the organization and what they're doing. And Saquon Barkley starting in the Super Bowl at running back is just the latest example of teams making bad decisions that isn't the truth of the matter. Because the matter is Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL, and he's getting ready to maybe win his first ring.
And I think that's what a lot of fans don't understand is that, we think of the NFL as this high caliber, the top notch, everybody's the best at what they do. But we don't realize, everybody is just trying to prove themselves right in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you saw right there with the Daniel Jones Saquon thing. They paid Daniel Jones. And so they're like, why? We got to be able to depend on the quarterback we paid, and we don't necessarily have to pay the running back too. And you see where that got them, where they don't have the quarterback anymore, and they don't have the running back, and they're in a whole, a level of disarray that we haven't seen in a long time in the organization. So I just think that the fans have to realize that these decision makers, they make the job a lot harder than they need to sometimes, because the obvious choice right there, and from everybody outside of New York, everyone knew that Saquon Barkley was the best thing that team had, and they let him go.
Yep.
That's bad
Well,
organizations continue to do bad things, right? And they hire the same recycling coaches.
yeah.
It's just a recycling effect, man, that we see going on in the NFL. And Saquon, he definitely deserves Offensive Player of the Year. Hopefully they go out there and win. Because shout out to Slay, man, that's my boy. So hopefully Slay can go get him a
Hey,
ring,
he
man.
needs one too
He's
because
getting
he got paid after that first Super Bowl, but he's got a chip on his shoulder in this one. And for those who don't remember, he had a penalty
yeah,
that may or may not have cost the game, right? So he's going to be coming back with a vengeance.
right.
Well, let's go on to second down here, boys. We're going to get to some of the stories of the Super Bowls. I know Shelby's been out here for the madness that I'm currently at too, and Chris and I haven't gotten to tell you, the fans, what it was like that week. But just second down first, boys. Jaden Daniels, no surprise, Rookie of the Year. And has your MVP changed at all in terms of who you think's going to win it?
Go ahead, Shelby.
I don't think it's changed at all. I think it's still clear cut Lamar Jackson. And luckily, this is a regular season award. You can't change your vote once you see the Ravens lose to the Bills or the Bills lose to the Chiefs. You have to just rock with what you saw in the regular season. And if we're going off a regular season award, I don't think we've seen a season before like how we saw with Lamar Jackson this year. Just the pure efficiency, the way he's able to move the ball. I think the biggest thing that we saw as football people, as fans, as anyone, is how he elevated this year in terms of his arm talent. He made all the throws. He was making the spectacular throws, but then also he was still doing the same thing with his legs. And to be able to be more productive, and you added a more productive back, that's rare. And so for him to put up the stats and to really be as effective as he was, and having Derrick Henry, right there having to hand the ball off 20 plus times a game too, that shows you how much more efficient Lamar Jackson was. And I think that we all can agree that, we can't take seasons like this lightly. We cannot take voter fatigue lightly. Like, that's a real thing. And we have to appreciate every year when a player goes and shows us a season how Lamar did, we have to appreciate it. So I'm a real big believer that, let's not get tired of what Lamar Jackson's doing. It's special. Let's really enjoy it. Just like with LeBron, how LeBron, people get tired of the greatness. Let's not get tired of greatness. Let's still enjoy this. But it's clear cut, Lamar Jackson's your league MVP.
Right. I always thought as a kid that there would be nobody close to like Mike Vick and his elusiveness and the phenomenon of Vick. We had the shoes,
Yeah.
right? He was on all the
Mm-hmm.
commercials, right? He
We had
was
the
so
jerseys.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so big to us as a kid, right? Even on the Madden, right? Because he was the only one that was 99 speed on the Madden, right? And now we got Lamar Jackson, right? This kid has been able to do it all, especially this year, 40 plus touchdowns, low interceptions, having the top running back, one of the top running backs in the league, but you still put up production like Shelby's saying, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to make this guy comfortable. You want to get him settled in, right? You kind of want to give him part of the offense. But all he did was elevate and really put the team on his back. So he deserves it again. And we can't get voter bias. We can't just because he won it before. No, it's a new season. It's a new slate of football, right? New games, and he went out there and proved it. So Lamar deserves it. Daniels deserves Rookie of the Year. He balled out all season and in the playoffs. Really,
Mm-hmm.
he did his thing. So Bo Nix probably get runner up. I put him or Drake May runner up, but Jaden Daniels is the clear cut Rookie of the Year.
To me, the only thing now, I kind of am on Shelby's train. You was on it first, but Saquon, what he's done is incredible. I think he in the regular season, what he's done is good as well. There is something people don't like about Lamar Jackson in the media. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the writers don't like about him. How many times did he have to throw for over 3,000 yards before they called him a quarterback? I just don't understand it. So I think I'm with you guys. Lamar Jackson's the most talented player in the NFL. He's the best player in every game on the field at any time. Like, he's the guy. That's the one that's
Right.
the best player. That's who should get it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get it because of whatever people hold against Lamar Jackson.
Now, third down, fellas. Let's completely pivot. Let's go off basis right here. Luka Doncic traded
Ooh,
for Anthony Davis, and we're gonna get to my Bucks too, because obviously my Bucks just made a move too. We got a
Let's
couple
go.
Laker fans here. A garbage a Mavs, someone that lives in Dallas. You know what I mean? But
Lakers,
what's the
baby.
how are we feeling? How are we feeling? Huge trades, NBA trade deadline. This is probably one of the most surprising trades we've seen ever,
No, the
ever.
city's dead. The city was dead, man. The city was
That's,
dead.
so how you
Yeah,
feeling, Chris?
Luka Doncic is loved by everybody here. There's not anybody that doesn't love Luka here in Dallas, right? So to see him go, it's a lot of hurt kids. Like Kyrie said, he said it the best. They're grieving. They really are grieving out here, losing Luka. So I'm loving it, right? I get to see LeBron James
come on.
and Luka Doncic, and then they just picked up Williams, the big 7 foot center from the Hornets, right? I'm loving it. right? To see these two guys on the court, LeBron kind of play like the Draymond Green role. Let's let Luka be the Kyrie guy. He is a closer, right? LeBron wasn't really always the closer. He always had like a sidekick to close. So
Yep.
let's let Luka be that closer at the end of the game. Make LeBron's job way easier, right? Hey, the Lakers to the finals. Lakers to the finals.
If they don't win
Wow.
it, if they don't win it, something's wrong. And
Lakers to the finals.
you
Well, you
guys,
really believe that? Y'all really
100%,
believe Lakers to the finals?
100%,
100%, I believe it.
100%.
Yes.
You're out your mind if anybody's beating that team.
We
LeBron
haven't
can,
seen Luka and LeBron play together one play. We haven't seen it at
It's
all.
going to be
And we talking
easy.
about
don't need to. Don't need pick and roll. Pick and roll. Run the triangle. You know what? Go do what you guys want to do. That's the coaching right there. Y'all go take the ball. Go ahead. Go see what happens. I think the end of the day for me, what this trade, the Mavericks trading Luka is all about. Luka's not the guy. He's not the number one. And just to the point that you were saying, Chris, I mean, you could say that without Ray Allen, aka Jesus Shuttlesworth, LeBron doesn't get his first ring. Man, he bricked it on
Right.
the last shot, was complaining while Ray Allen went in the corner and hit the three. Right? Kyrie did it when he was in Cleveland, hitting that big shot at the right side of the key. Right? So LeBron has become that guy, and I think part of it is he's understanding. I got 16 to 25 games that I got to lock in. The rest of the season is getting me ready for that. Right? I mean, he's played more in the playoffs than most people have careers in the NBA. So, but Luka just wasn't the guy. And we saw that in the finals when he got there. He just does not want to be the number one person. I've never understood that in terms of you got an opportunity, man, go. But you got to remember he's been a pro since he was 16. You know, he's been successful everywhere he's gone. He just doesn't. He has yet to hit that next level, and that's why the Mavericks traded him. And I can't disagree with that premise.
What do you mean next
I don't like.
level, though?
Yeah, but
What do you mean by next level?
I mean the Kobe face, the LeBron James is calling for the ball. He might be looking for the best pass, but he's calling for the ball. Nikola Jokic changed his body to win 2 MVPs and a world championship. You're not seeing that from Luka, right? You're not
Yeah.
seeing that, and that's the difference to me.
See, I think the biggest thing that I feel like we're missing is I think last year's finals run left a terrible taste in the Mavs' mouth. Luka was out of shape. He was a defensive liability that whole series, and we saw Boston chop them up, but when they went right at Luka, and so I just think that what we've seen though is that they don't necessarily believe that Luka can be one that can lead them to the championship.
Mm-hmm.
They're obvious, but then it's just the level of that of you just trading them pretty much straight up for Anthony Davis is absurd because you're talking about that's like a 6-7 year age difference in player,
Yeah.
and you're talking about a player that was the cornerstone of your franchise. So I just it's tough. If I'm a Mavs fan, I have to be depleted, but also if you're a real fan, though, I think this actually gives you a better chance if you're a Mavs fan because you get Kyrie and AD, and then you have Clay that's sitting there on the perimeter. That opens up a lot of things that you didn't have necessarily with Luka, and you get AD to actually get to play his original, natural position of the 4 and not have to play the 5. That changes the game for the Mavs, and so I don't think it's going to be as bad as what a lot of people, the initial shock makes it feel like. Now, I think the what's going to mess them up is this messes their future up. Now they're in a position of win now. They have to win now because they have an older team. Kyrie's 32. Anthony Davis is getting up there in age. Klay Thompson's older. So you went from having a 25-year-old cornerstone to now everybody's 30 plus, and that's your team. And so now it just shifts your mindset of, we can build to know we have to win now. So now the Mavs, I wouldn't necessarily be so worried about. The Lakers, I would be worried about. Anthony Davis was a big part of your team. Yes, you went and got the center from the Hornets, Williams, but Anthony, you can't replace Anthony Davis. We forget how instrumental Anthony Davis was for them to win that bubble championship. Anthony Davis is, that guy that they think he is. He really is a generational player, and he gets all the hate because he's injured. But Anthony Davis is a player who can lead a team to a championship. So I just think we're too high up on the Lakers on what they received, and we're too low on what the Mavs received. But let's not forget, though, my Milwaukee Bucks has made a trade.
Oh,
Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton getting traded for for Kyle Kuzma. And, it's a lot of mixed reactions in Bucks country. But I just think that the biggest thing that's missing right now, that what people don't understand, is you just traded an aging vet for a young under 30 player who's still ascending in the league. And so we got to be excited if we're Bucks fans because it's the new future, and you got to find new ways to be creative to keep Giannis, in Milwaukee, especially being a small market team. But what do you guys think?
I love Chris Middleton's game. I like the move though, right? Because just like you said, I mean, they'd won it together, and at some point the plan's not working, right? You won one, you haven't been able to get back if you're the Bucks. So I understand what they're doing. I think Kuzma I don't know if he's a better player than Chris Middleton, but I understand that he gives different options and spacing on the floor. But it really is not going to matter because you got the Celtics there against in that division, right? Isn't that the same conference with the Bucks? You got the Celtics on that side, and the Lakers, man, they're going to be on the west side. So
Bro, y'all
it's
gotta get
going to be
over the
Lakers. It's
Lakers,
going to be
man.
Lakers, Celtics again, and Luka might actually get a ring and get to hide for the rest of his career.
I got a question. How does this always happen to the Lakers? Like they always get a superstar, right?
LeBron's the GM,
But
I'm not
right?
gonna
but
complain.
for extremely cheap though. I think that's what everybody's
Extremely
so
cheap.
confused about. It's extremely cheap.
They're all the executives and GMs. I seen the report. They were mad that they didn't get a bid at Luca and the Mavs. I would have tried to get a little bit more, man. Something had to happen. There has to be more to the story for them to not get a top first round pick somewhere in that. I think they had a pick from the Lakers a first round, but you never know. All the Lakers first round picks have been later. For Luka, you got to try to get a top 5 pick for this guy, man. And I just don't like the return that they got. AD, he's still older now. He's playing at a high level, right? Defensively, he is, and offensively, he's playing at a high level. But who's going to be their closer? Are we going to count on Kyrie to be the closer?
You know Kyrie gonna be the
Clay to be
closer.
the
Uncle
closer?
Drew, let's
You know
No.
Kyrie,
go.
baby.
After that, who else? PJ Washington, right? This is a stars league, and superstars win you games, right? So I got LeBron and Luca going to the Western Conference Finals the first year, and we're going to the championship, man. I'm telling you.
I
Man, y'all,
like
you just like the other delusional Lakers fans out there. Babe, let's hit fourth down real quick before we let everybody go. We have obviously two former Super Bowl champions here, and I just want to hear from you guys. How did it feel when you won the championship? When that clock hit zero, what were the emotions that you were feeling? And just everything that happened after, and just take us through it.
you start, Chris.
Man, you kind of just it's a hard feeling to describe. The first thing I was kind of thinking about was like, where's my family? Where's my family? Where's my kids? That was kind of like the first thing, and just man, it was just hugging our brothers, everybody cheering with each other, man. Just know how much work that we put in as a whole, and our Super Bowl, it took a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
Right. It was a real journey from week one, even from training camp all the way to the Super Bowl. It was a full journey, a roller coaster. Peyton was in, Peyton was out. Brock was in, Brock was out. All our secondary was hurt. Then they came back, and Brute was hurt, so we all had to adjust all season long, man. And just to go out there and get that job done with those guys, man, it was an amazing feeling. And man, you always try to win again, man. I always try to get back to that same point. But when you got to take advantage of those opportunities, man, because you're never going to be as fortunate as the Chiefs, right? To be able to go, how many times has Mahomes went? 5 times, 4 or 5 times,
Four times. Yeah, 4 times. This is his third in a row.
right? And going to being able to win 3 in a row, man, like McDuffie, he came right into the NFL to straight Super Bowls,
Ooh.
So, and I kind of thought when I first got in the league, I thought our situation was going to be the same, right? And it just doesn't work out like that all the time. So you got to take advantage of this opportunity, and it's an unbelievable feeling.
I'm with you. When you win the Super Bowl, everything you believe about yourself comes true for other people because you have to be a champion before you're crowned a champion, and that's the adversity that Chris is talking about. You got to walk. You got to not only fight your way through it, but improve. and you have to encourage everyone. And man, when the clock struck 0, I'll never forget. This is the most confetti you've ever thought of, and it feels like you go through a wormhole. You don't know which way is up or down. And I'm hugging Malik Jackson. It's just the team that we had on Super Bowl 50 was so great. And honestly, it's something where you try and get back to it in any way you can, whether it's on the field or in the business meetings, like that camaraderie where someone's saying, "Hey, you need anything today? Hey, what do you need? Hey, I got you." That's what made the Super Bowl so special. And then you get to have the most fun. We're still celebrating, aren't we, Chris? And I'll
Man,
never forget
still
Chris on
it's
the bus
nonstop.
after we went to the parade. He's on the bus and, "Hey, we got Rick Ross coming." So, all right, I'll be there. He's like, "You're not coming, Ryan." "Oh, yes, I am. I'm here for all that, buddy." Well, that's all we got this week's We're the Harrises. Tune in next week as we break down the Super Bowl and start getting into the draft.